How's it going, guys? Welcome back. I got my man Jeremy Sauceda right next to me, bare knuckle fighter. So let's talk about that, Jeremy. Just talk about bare knuckle fighting. Just what got you into that?
It started, I had been boxing all my life, not all my life, but when I got around 17, 18, my dad, he was a pro boxer. I always loved boxing. And finally, when I started training with him, I was doing boxing and then kind of got into work, wanted to make some money and stuff and quit fighting for a while. And um, I met Leonard Garcia, and he's the one that I started sparring with, training with, and then eventually, after his fights and everything that he had going on, he gave me a contract to sign with Bare Knuckle.
Okay, now let's talk about bare knuckle itself because you mentioned your background is boxing, but
Yeah.
what made you go into bare knuckle? Because it's kind of it's not kind of, it is a dangerous sport,
Oh
especially
yeah.
going like bone to bone.
Yeah, it's tough. And then whenever he told me he was doing it, I was like, man, you're crazy. And then I saw it, and then I actually went to an event with him, and it was just nothing like I've ever seen before. The atmosphere, everything was great. So I loved it, and I fell in love with the sport, and then that's what got me into it. And then there's nothing more raw than hitting, bone to bone like that. You can't say that. Oh, that guy's, you know, baby. Like I don't know, man. You just can't explain it. You can't explain it.
Let's talk about the beginning. You debuted in 2022. Just what was that feeling like? Just going in there for the first time into a sport that not a lot of people really knew about.
Yeah. Oh man, it's your nerves are going crazy, man. Especially, man, the opponent I had, he's a big dude, man. And So going in there and then getting that first punch from him was just like was an eye opener. It was like, man, this ain't boxing anymore. And then from there, it just progressed and the love for it. And right after that, I took some quick fights, like short notice fights and stuff. And I probably wasn't completely prepared for it, but now with who I'm with at the works and my coach there, Ruben Lamas, man, he's been helping me and educating me on so many things in fighting and how to really dive deep into bare knuckle and go for a victory.
And now let's talk about your last fight. I saw the video. I saw the knockout. You're here in Texas. First time bare knuckles came to Texas. So what was that like? Just talk about me the whole emotions from the weekend leading up to it.
Oh man, it was great. I've been the guy fighting the home guy every single time, so it was a great feeling to finally be in my state and fight with my people there and say that I'm from Texas. So it was so much better. I mean, it's still great whether it is or what for what it is. You know what I mean? But man, it was awesome. So like just the media and and Bkfc just backing me up the whole time man, it was great. It was really great.
In history with your fights, they don't really last that long. Usually just end in the first round. So talk to me about just like that punch combination that you had right there that ended up putting that guy to sleep.
Man, so when you get in the ring, you kind of realize your opponent's going to do certain movements and things like that. So, and once you get in there, your mind kind of goes blank, but you still focus on what you trained and what you know, right? So once you start getting hit bare knuckle, it's like a lot of that stuff goes out the window. So, but we already knew where I needed to attack, and what plan to go by, and I was actually going to be more technical and show a little more my technical side and boxing side and maneuvering and stuff. And but once I hit him, I knew it hurt and broke his nose, and then so I just went for the kill.
Talk about that. Just when you see it, when you look in their eyes, or just when do you know like, okay, now I gotta kind of like ramp it up a bit.
Well, right away because you can see it in the eyes. You can see like, oh man, I didn't like that. You can tell when someone doesn't like getting hit. So
Yeah.
as soon as they feel that that especially a hard punch, you're like, oh yeah, he didn't like that. So then, man, just what you can do is sit back and kind of make it last longer or not, or just go ahead and go in there and go for the kill.
And I want to talk about like these type of knockouts that bare knuckle have because, like we mentioned, it is bone to bone. So I'm pretty sure you had some knockouts in boxing with gloves on.
Oh
Just
yeah.
how does that? I mean, just we know a knockout feels good when you get to do it, but is there like does it feel better in the sense that when you get to do it bone on bone rather than with a glove or any protection on?
I think so because I say that because there's just no other form. Like you're like an old gladiator in ancient times. Now you're freaking fighting with your bare hands. You don't have gloves to protect you or none of that. So it's 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 more of that feeling of being more aggressive, being more ruthless, being more, like how it's intended to be, like how they were back in the day, all the warriors and gladiators. You know what I mean? So it does give you a sense of fulfillment. Getting those knockouts.
And now I want to talk about your division, the middleweight division, correct?
Well, this is the first fight. I've always fought middleweight, and this fight was the first one I fought welterweight.
Okay, so I guess what was the difference in that?
Well, the weight cut for sure, and because I usually walk around like 195, something like that, and so I cut down to 175 for middleweight. So this one was 165, and I thought I was pretty close to my weight when I showed up, and then I was 10 pounds off, so I had to cut those 10 pounds within that day.
What's the experience like having to go from like how you said you walk around at 190 to drop down all the way to that weight?
Um, it could be a lot worse. I haven't had to deal with. I did my first fight because I was walking around 220, something like that. So that cut was pretty good. Was pretty ridiculous, you know. But now I've gotten accustomed to it, so it's not too bad. I kind of know what I need to eat, what I need to, and I'll still eat what I like a lot of the times. But if I start getting too heavy or whatever, then I know I need to lay off certain things, sodas and stuff like that. So, um, but whenever you get closer to the fight and you're cutting that 5 to 10 pounds within uh, 10 hours or whatever, less than that maybe, um, that's when it gets a little more difficult, and you're not eating or you're not drinking water at all for those
Yeah.
2 days or whatever may be the case. And then you're just in the sauna sweating it out, like you're doing everything you can to sweat that weight out. So it is definitely draining on your body, and it can definitely put you in a bad spot.
Bkfc, just what's the experience like been for you just working along with them and just what do you have to say just how they are in general?
Oh man, I love them guys, and they always give me a lot of respect, and they every time I go in, they go in there with excited, and we have smiles, and we're just talking and enjoying it. And man, they've taken really good care of me, and I know in the future, as we've been in talks and stuff for future fights and all of that, it's gonna just progress and get better. But I definitely have a good relationship with them guys, and man, yeah, they're great.
This organization is still fairly new. Just what are the heights or what are the limits that you can see that it going through?
Oh man, yeah, especially uh, Conor McGregor is one of the partners in the company. It's going nuts, man. Everybody wants to see it, and people they don't know about it and they see it, they're like, man, this is awesome. And especially being there live, man,
Oh,
there's nothing like it. You can hear the cracking, you can hear all that. So it's like there's nothing else like it. And it's nonstop action. It's not, you're grappling on the floor and stuff like that, which I know that's a big part of people's training, but you're just stand up, freaking going at it.
just
They,
trading.
yeah, they don't let you rest. They don't let you hold or nothing. So you got to be throwing punches the whole time.
You mentioned earlier how this was your first time fighting in a home in your home state, Texas. So just I want to go deeper into that. Being here in West Texas in Odessa, what did it mean for you just to travel over there, be like, hey, Odessa's here in the house. I'm here to represent the 432.
Oh man, it was great because I mean I've never had that before, and I feel like now before when I was telling people locally and stuff like, "Hey, I'm fighting for bare knuckle and stuff," everybody's like, "Oh, okay." But now where it's going and how big it is, it's one of the biggest organizations in the world right now. It's just growing so rapidly, and everybody wants to be a part of it. So just that feeling of that, and then now. I'm telling everybody like, hey, I'm fighting in Texas. Like y'all can actually come to the fight. Like y'all can see it. And everybody did see the media and see the way that it was, the way the promotion was there, and it was just a huge deal. So all these people got to actually enjoy it in person and see how big the production actually was. And man, they loved it. They're like, man, the next one's gonna be even better. Like, let me know. Like, man, I'm gonna invite everybody. So now I kind of feel a little more like I have Odessa is actually supporting me more and stuff. So it's a great feeling. It is.
Nice. And I gotta ask, we know McGregor is part of the organization. Have you had the chance to meet him at all?
Yeah, I've seen him a couple times. I haven't been there on a card with him yet, but I know for sure we'll definitely meet, and he'll be there for the upcoming cards and stuff. So it's gonna be good. Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, I appreciate you for the time. I can't wait to just keep following your career, see where this goes, because after I saw that knockout, man, this is the guy you don't want to mess with right here. Appreciate it, Jeremy.
Yes, sir.